President Bongbong Marcos pardons former Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog, who was linked to the drug trade by the Duterte administration. In a statement on Monday, January 27, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin says Marcos granted Mabilog's petition for executive clemency in connection with an unspecified administrative case. According to Bersamin, Mabilog's clemency was granted in view of his commitment to good governance, as well as the awards and recognition received by Iloilo City under his leadership. During his administration, former President Rodrigo Duterte accused Mabilog of being involved in the illegal drug trade. Mabilog had denied the allegation, but said he was remorseful if his efforts against illegal drugs were not enough. Fearing for his life, Mabilog left the country in August 2017 to attend a conference in Japan and then sought political asylum in the US. Mabilog only returned to the Philippines on September 10, 2024 under the new administration in order to clear his name. He was included in the Duterte administration's drug watch list, although no charges were ever filed against him regarding illegal drugs. Mabilog is facing graft charges before the Office of the Ombudsman for allegedly meddling with the awarding of a government contract to a towing services firm in which he and former Iloilo City Councilor Plaridel Nava II supposedly have a vested interest. The two Iloilo officials purportedly signed a memorandum of agreement with 3L Towing Services in 2015, allowing the firm to clamp and tow illegally parked vehicles in the city without undergoing the competitive process required under Republic Act 6957. Both were also accused of issuing business and mayor's permits to 3L Towing Services despite the owner not applying for such permits. The Philippine Coast Guard says it successfully kept a Chinese vessel illegally operating off Zambales from nearing the province's coastline as it spotted Beijing's monster ship a few nautical miles away. In a statement released late Sunday night, January 26, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, says that despite BRP Cabra's smaller size, it has prevented the China Coast Guard vessel 3103 from advancing closer to Zambales. The PCG vessel has maintained the China Coast Guard vessel to keep a distance of 90 to 100 nautical miles away from the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. He notes that aside from China Coast Guard 3103, Beijing also deployed China Coast Guard 3304, which appeared to serve as a supporting vessel, while the monster ship China Coast Guard 5901 was also spotted a few nautical miles away. Tariela emphasizes that the PCG is committed to prevent China from altering the status quo by encroaching closer to the coastline of Zambales. The PCG spokesperson also criticizes the China Coast Guard for threatening BRP Cabra, as Beijing warns the PCG vessel they would take necessary measures if it did not leave the area. He states that China's threats reflects its desire to impose a new order that undermines the rules-based international system. Beijing continues to assert sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, even after the 2016 arbitral ruling effectively dismissed its claims and ruled in favor of Manila. U.S. President Donald Trump's mass deportation policy is now taking effect, with 24 Filipinos deported for alleged involvement in illegal activities in the U.S., according to Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Babe Romualdez. In a radio interview on Sunday, January 26, Romualdez says around 24 Filipinos were deported from the U.S. due to their involvement in certain criminal activities, although he notes that these activities were not classified as very serious offenses. The ambassador reassures the public regarding the situation of undocumented Filipino immigrants, noting that some employers are committed to retaining their Filipino workers and are assisting them in securing their legal status. Romualdez previously said that the U.S. government would prioritize the deportation of individuals with criminal records, along with the 1.3 million immigrants who have already been processed. For its part, the Department of Foreign Affairs advises Filipino immigrants to keep a low profile and actively pursue regularizing their legal status in the U.S. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega recalls Trump's comments about working with Democrats on addressing illegal aliens who do not fall under the categories of those targeted for deportation, particularly criminals and terrorists. According to De Vega, this means the U.S. government is eyeing to create legal avenues to encourage productive overstaying aliens to become fully legalized. He also emphasizes that immigrants who are targeted for deportation still have legal options to contest the decision and remain in the U.S. for at least several months. De Vega further notes that the majority of Filipinos who entered the U.S. did so with valid documentation, even if their visas have since expired, which differs from individuals who entered without any papers. During Trump's first term, De Vega says the U.S. deported only a few hundred or less undocumented Filipinos each month, which was fewer than during the Obama administration.